the students. Indeed, I am delighted to be part of this celebration in your college. In fact, I have a minor health issue where I had contemplated to skip this program, but because I understand it will be very difficult for the teachers to find another replacement, so I decided to skip my treatment and attend this program for now. There are two things that I would like to speak today. Firstly is about democracy, and secondly is about freedom. It's been 70 years since we achieved our independence as a country. I would like to remind each one of you who are here that we are here not only to celebrate our Independence Day, but to commemorate and pay a tribute to all those who were instrumental in achieving us freedom. There were many people who could not live to see a free India, but they have fought valiantly for freedom. I think you all understand what freedom means. I am of the view that the word freedom would be more understood by those who had experienced slavery and whose rights had been trampled on by the foreigners. The people of India had chosen a democratic form of government and adopted a parliamentary system of governance, which is why the preamble of the Constitution of India reads, as I quote, "We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expressions, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity and assuring the dignity of individual and the unity and integration of the nation," unquote. This constitution was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on the 26th November 1949, and it became effective on the 26th January 1950, which India became a republic. However, it is saddening to see that today India is slipping away from its democratic principle and seems to be moving towards authoritarian and oligarchy. We have even witnessed in a state where the voice of the common man is stifled and the manner in which people in power behave on matters related to public interest. It is really a sorry state of affairs. So the question here is whether Indian democracy is under serious threats. One of the basic tenets in the democratic setup is the right to vote freely by every citizen in this country. And for a detailed exercise and preparation of an election, Election Commission of India has been constitutionally tasked with the responsibility and duty to provide for a free and fair election to the people. Election Commission has been made to remain independent and free from political. That is not the case. Leave alone what is happening in the country now. There are many people who could not exercise their franchise freely even in our state. There has been a gross manipulation and abuse of power by those who are at the helm of affairs. In fact, leaders are elected to serve the people and the nation. However, what we have seen is that today power has been played into the hands of the rulers to serve their own interests, even at the expense of the state and the country. Another matter of concern is the violation of law by the lawmakers themselves. For example, an anti-defection law in the form of the 10th Schedule was brought out with the intention to ensure that members of legislature or parliament, for that matter, from preventing them to defect from the original party that nominated them. However, we have seen with our own eyes how our elected representatives defected from one party to another, and thereby making a mockery of the law. They have completely lost the trust of the people. They have no shame with them, and they still have the audacity to put the blame on the electorate for that matter. Therefore, in view of what we have seen and discussed, I hope that you will all agree with me that yes, Indian democracy is seriously under threat. Another point that I would like to speak is about freedom. There are two types of freedom according to my perspective. The positive freedom and the negative freedom. A positive freedom is a kind of a freedom where people are using it to promote common good and common interest for the welfare of the people and upliftment and betterment of the community, the society, the state, and the country as a whole. Whereas negative freedom is a type of a freedom where people use freedom to protect their personal life and interest, even at the cost of the community, the society, the state, and the country. So choose your freedom correctly. On this occasion, I would also like to speak about freedom in the context of the North-East tribal people. With with the Khasis in particular. You may wonder, why do I want to speak about this today? The simple reason is that I want to remind the young generation of today about our history as the indigenous tribes of this country. As we all know, we were not part of India before the advent of the British into these hills. And there are some people who still feel that we are still living under the colonial rule. There is no doubt that there have been a lot of changes as far as the right of the indigenous people is concerned. Yes, as tribal community, we are enjoying special rights through special provision incorporated in the Constitution of India. But they cannot be compared to the pre-independence period where we had our exclusive rights over land, resources, and others. After having said that, I would like to make a very clear statement today that I'm not here to propagate for an independence from India. I just want to ignite the minds of the youth and create an interest to learn about the rules and get them motivated and inspired to stand the ground strongly as far as the interests of the indigenous people are concerned. In conclusion, I would like to call upon each and every youth of today to rise up against the exploitation of the ruling class and champion the cause of restoring back to freedom for the bright and secure future of the state and the country. Let me remind you here that growth and development without true freedom is worthless. Thank you so much.